So who's feeling daring? Who'd like to jump into the barrel and try a first meeting simulation? Everybody's looking down.
Scary. Definitely not scary.
Oh, these guys did it. They survived. Okay, then let's do Maya. Who's got Maya?
You got Maya.
Come on up. I'm gonna be Maya. Let's put you guys something to you. What are you guys doing?
Observing.
Critiquing. What can we all learn from what you see?
We give compliments as well.
Oh, yeah. Critique means both.
Yeah, it could be a positive thing.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good to hear. Oh, hi, my name is Yeraldi Bermudez.
Yeraldi?
Partner. Yes,
Where's that from?
from Mexico.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
Mexican American.
And my name is Stephanie Gonzalez.
Stephanie.
I'm also
Nice to
from
meet you.
So,
Well, I also happen to be from Mexico,
lovely. From,
someplace in Mexico.
so we're consulting students from the University of Notre Dame, and we're so excited to work with you this semester. Our goal isn't to come with all of the answers, but our goal is to help you with any obstacles that you get dealing with in your company or your business. And we.
I'm so appreciative, so thank you so much for helping me.
So if there's anything that we can help you.
So we just want to ask you a few questions. So the first one would be, why did you start your business?
Okay, so what do they need to do right now?
I think they need to explain a little bit better, like what exactly they're going to be doing for the clients before they dive into trying to understand the business.
So introduce us a little bit to how the engagement is gonna unfold over the next 13 or so weeks, 12 weeks.
So our aim is to work together throughout the course of the semester and not to tell you what to do, but instead to help you explore opportunities and solutions that align with your visions. We're committed to putting in the time and effort to help you in any way that you need and to align with your visions as well. So would you be comfortable with telling us a bit about your business?
I would, but tell me a little bit more how this is gonna work.
So we'll meet with you weekly to discuss our plans for the future, and we'll discuss some,
So always on Thursday nights?
yes, always on Thursday
Here
nights,
at
and
the
we can meet
library?
outside of the times if it's necessary.
Okay,
And furthermore, we can also help you areas of growth. And in the future.
do you have a particular consulting approach?
Yes, our approach is process consulting, where we'll work together as a team, as opposed to giving you the answers directly that we might not have, or trying to figure it out ourselves. We can all work together.
And are you gonna be like producing stuff for me?
Yeah, we can.
We'll be working together
Business.
to help you produce any.
And you're gonna start producing stuff next week?
Well, yeah.
We have to figure out our goals first and where the areas of growth are, for us to decide which to start first.
Okay, so what's gonna happen? We're gonna first do some research and analysis, and we're gonna produce a business model for you. And we're gonna use that experience to identify some of the priority needs in your business. And then once we agree on those priorities with you, we're gonna try to produce solutions or deliverables to address those issues. So just give us a little bit of a feel for how the next 12 weeks are gonna unfold. So you're managing their expectations. What does that mean, managing their expectations?
making them making sure that they're realistic about what you're going to be offering them and not being under the impression that you're going to fix the business for them.
right?
And also be aware of what they are going to have in the next.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah, just setting up the time frame. So again, like the girls mentioned, the 41 semester, maybe like a little bit
it's
more.
gonna end.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna end that we have concrete results. We have approximate strategy to what we're gonna do because we have certain expertise and we cannot just, if we have an expertise, for example, in marketing, we cannot do like some extra other thing. So that they understand what we can actually do with them and not, just
And
put
how many
everything on
problems
us.
are we solving? How many deliverables do you need to produce for each client?
3.
Three. So we're gonna focus in on three kind of priority areas. Once we do the research and come to know your business a little better and come to understand the market and so what you were trying to say.
Sorry, quick thought if I may. You mentioned, they're not operating on semester schedules, so do you think just giving a calendar date rather than over the semester?
Good point. Yeah, good point. But there's another thing with managing expectations. You're trying to send some signals like we're not just lackey labor doing whatever you tell us to do. We're not your interns. If some of you've done internships, you don't have a lot of input. They tell you, do this and go look this up, and you're not an intern, you're a consultant, and it's a 50-50 collaboration. And these guys have tried to already say that. That's important that you did that, okay? So you're also managing expectations in the sense that this is a collaboration and we're not just gonna do what you tell us to do. That's the awkward part, because students are hesitant to push back, but you need to feel comfortable in your skin in terms of, for this to be productive, it's gotta be two-way, okay? Go ahead. So we did all that intro stuff. In the real thing, there'd probably be a little more get acquainted. There'd probably be a little more. When she says where she's from in Mexico, I'm sure that'll lead to some other kind of things. And what else might you ask her about that?
How it impacted her business or part of her heritage and how it got her started.
I might ask her, would you be more comfortable if we speak in Spanish or in English? Assuming you guys are okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
So now we would like to move on to questions about your business. So the first question would be, why did you start your business?
Well, I started it for a number of reasons. I first want to work for myself. And being here in America has been quite an adjustment for me. I still struggle with English. And so working for somebody else that doesn't speak Spanish is a struggle for me as well. But I also want to express myself and express myself through my business and what I create.
Next question is, what makes you passionate about what you do?
Well, what I do is I design and build these piñatas. And I remember from being a little girl having piñatas. It's a part of my culture and my upbringing. And so to be able to build a business around my culture and where I come from and what I do and bring that to here in South Bend. And, I'm hoping to sell all over the place, not just in South Bend. That is exciting for me.
Our culture. So we also want to identify some of your business goals that you have during your time here helping you.
I want to sell as many piñatas as I can produce. I have two daughters. I would love for them to be involved in the business, but they've got their own interests, and so I don't know. But I'd like to grow the business.
Ask you what sets your pinatas apart, if you do custom pinatas, or if there's something different that sets them apart from what other customers might steer to, for example, like a walnut pinata that might be cheaper for them.
Yeah, well, you might ask me how I learned how to do pinatas. And so I knew I wanted to do this business, but I'd never made a pinata in my life. And so I went back to Mexico for about 2 months and I was taught and sort of was an apprentice and made with other people pinatas until I felt comfortable. And so since I've come back, I started to build and design my own. I have a number of different designs I've come up with.
On the other hand, do you have any challenges that you're experiencing as of right now with your business?
Well, sales is a big challenge for me. How do I market my products? I don't have a lot of money to spend on marketing. I'm a little familiar with social media, but I'm not, I'm not an expert at social media, and I don't have a big network here in South Bend. So how do I get the word out, and how do I sell more? It's a big issue for me. The materials I use to make a piñata are, I have to acquire those and pay for them before I've sold anything. And so how can I create nice piñatas, but keep my costs as low as possible?
How do you source your materials for making your piñatas?
I use a lot of used stuff that I can sort of repurpose. I'm sure she wouldn't use the word repurpose, but I also go to Michael's store and I buy some things there. The frames I use material from Walmart.
Now focusing a bit more on your clientele, like what age groups or events are your piñatas primarily targeted?
Yeah, I think all ages, but especially children. I think piñatas, anybody could, especially child, any birthday party, any celebration, church event or whatever. I am probably focused a little more on the Latino and Hispanic market, but I'm not limited to that. I need help with that.
Well, I think that a way we could marketing strategies would be, are there any cultural significance or stories you have behind your reasoning for why you started your piñata business?
Yeah, well, as I said, it has to do with my background and my cultural traditions, but no, you need to maybe see my piñatas. You need to see that right now I have 5 designs, different kinds of unique designs of a piñata that's a letter, like it's a birthday party, and it's Louisa's birthday party is a big L piñata. And the answer to the question is tied to your wanting to see my piñatas.
How long does it take you to make a pinata on average?
About 3 days.
3 days, and you make them yourself?
I do in my garage.
How many orders would you say you get a week?
I'm not selling very much at all, and most of what I sell is when I am at an event. So like the Notre Dame people have these events and I had a table at one and I had three of my piñatas there and a lot of people came up to look at them but I'm not making a lot of sales right now.
Circling back to your social media presence, what platforms do you say you would use the most?
Oh, I don't know a lot about social media, but TikTok is the one I know the best.
Do you feel that there are any seasonal trends in selling your piñata?
Not necessarily, you might a little more in the nicer weather months than the winter months, but people have parties and celebrations all through the year.
So we would like to keep on collaborating, find solutions for these obstacles that you are having. Yeah, is there anything else that you'd like to ask?
That's it for today.
Yeah.
Okay, good, thanks, guys. So what did you observe? Suggestions, thoughts, reactions? These guys have thick skin, they're okay. Yeah,
Look like they would ask questions.
okay, yes.
I think they were really prepared to ask questions, but they didn't necessarily have, and I mean, it's still a few days before the meeting, but they didn't have points picked out specifically. They wanted to do a deep dive into. It felt like a lot of jumping around and different questions and like they didn't get super in depth into anything.
Yeah, so you need an agenda before you go into every meeting. And what are you trying to accomplish in a given meeting? Three
Things well answered.
Three things well answered. Three things well answered. So they did keep questions coming, but a little bit jumping around and having some sense. So did we walk away with a clear sense of what the product mix looks like? Did we walk away with a clear sense of what our current marketing efforts are? If we're gonna open the door on your sales, then what's the logical question on your sales? Well, I made a point to say I sell at these community events like the ones Notre Dame organizes, but what would be a logical follow-up there? Think about follow-up.
What made you choose to sell there? What made you choose to sell like at the Notre Dame event?
Well, it's part of the SP program. Notre Dame is it's their program I'm part of, our program. So that's why she did. No, when she's talking about sales channels, what do you want to know?
Is she selling any there?
Right, but selling,
She's selling
in
person or online?
does she have online sales? Has she tried to get into any stores, to sell her stuff? You know, maybe there's certain kind of stores that would like to have piñatas available. Is it all sort of one-to-one personal selling? What are the different channels that she tries to make sales through? That'd be a good follow-up to that particular issue. What else did you observe? Yeah.
Sorry, I was just gonna add on, I was just thinking
Go
with the
ahead.
price points. I know that's suitable to ask.
It's absolutely suitable. So yeah, how do you set your prices? What are your price points right now? Do people always just buy one at a time, or might they buy more than one? Do you give them any kind of deal if they buy more than one? Those would be good pricing related questions. But the interesting issue is how do you arrive at a price? Well, I kind of figure out my costs or whatever, but yeah. Yes.
What is your like delivery method? Like how,
How do you get the product?
Yes.
So it's kind of a big thing. It's, you know, these and so how does she get the piñata to the customer? When you're asking about, so if products and services was one of the three big takeaways, what else would we not, how does it get to the customer is a good one. What would be other product or the product or the service you're selling questions? Yes.
what sells the best?
Do any of your styles sell more than others or designs sell more? That's a good question. Big question. Like a consultant. You're gonna get tired of me saying. Yes,
Maybe their supply, where are they
they
getting?
did ask about that. They did ask about that. But products themselves. Where do you get your ideas for designs? Would be a good question. You know, do you look at online or other places that other people make piñatas and try to copy those, or do you come up with your own designs? What would be a big question about this? Piñata. Your dorm mates are having a festive thing for you at the dorm. What's the question you'd ask me about my piñatas? Okay, that's a good question. For what occasions do you make them for? There you go. Are they all sort of pre-made fixed designs, or will you customize one for me? You got the letter L, will you do the letter K or whatever, or what kind of customization might you do? And customization raises a follow-on question, which would be, how long does it take to make one that's customized? How much lead time do you need before a birthday party or before an event to create one of these from scratch for somebody? So what am I trying to say here? What's coming out of this conversation? The group did fine. They were caught cold. I bet the last thing they thought is they get told on today. But they were scurrying to get to the next question. This is where, if you pause, and especially if you planned it out. So we know we want to thoroughly explore the product or service itself, right? Then probe into that, have probing questions into that. Go as far as you can into that before you move on to talking about who the customers are or bookkeeping issues or whatever. But the point is, take an area like the product service mix and take a deep dive. Think of anything and everything you'd want to know about this lady making piñatas. How customized, how many options, where does she get her ideas from? How does she deliver these things? Does she wrap them or just bring them as a finished piñata? Tom, any input on?
No, I would say that what you might want to do is kind of think of the overall process of what is it you're making? Who do you sell to? How do you make it? How do you deliver it? And just keep it simple. Kind of think about the process from the time that she creates the product all the way to the point that she gets it to the individual.
Process consultant. Okay. So work up an agenda for Thursday night. Doesn't have to be the same agenda for each client. You might want to go in a different direction with this guy versus that woman or whatever. Think of the takeaways you want to walk out with being, you may still have to revisit it a little bit, but I'm pretty comfortable in terms of a foundation in this particular area. Okay? Okay, I want to pick up on a few ideas here. So we talked a little bit about commodity trap. We talked a little bit about entrepreneurship and the nature of how ventures actually emerge, typically different than where they start. I guarantee you this pinata business, if she makes it, gonna look very different than where she started. And then we start talking about your engagement itself and having a holistic view of this. And so your willingness to consider and ask questions in all the areas of the business. So in this first month, you're not at the back end gonna have a lot of breathing room or time to be doing a lot of research. That's gotta happen now. So your priority in this first month is researching that industry, that business, the marketplace, the competitive environment in the South Bend area, anything and everything you can learn. As I told you, because ultimately to be able to add value in any of these areas, you need to have a foundation. As I told you last week, the first thing you're going to produce, other than a letter of engagement, is business model. You have an option of not doing the business model and doing something more comprehensive. But students generally opt for the business model. The more comprehensive picture is something called the C model. When we take Notre Dame students to South Africa in the summertime, they have to do the full C model. The challenge with the C model is it ends up producing a 40 or so page analysis of the business, its market, its competition, its internal operations, and everything else. It takes considerable time and for various reasons, the business model is more appropriate for the semester consulting class. You're welcome to do a C model if you'd rather do that instead of the business model. Whether you do a C model or not, if I'm up here saying this first month is doing a lot of research, what's your logical question? What's your logical questions? This next month is doing a lot of research. What question should you ask me?
If someone's doing a bunch of research, I would ask you where to start.
What research should we be doing?
Yeah.
What research should we be doing, right? So the research you should be doing is the research for the C model. Even if you're not writing up the C model, this is a framework that I created some years ago. It works very well. It's very powerful. And it will give you some guidance in terms of the kinds of questions you should be asking, kinds of research you should be trying to get at. I think I'm a little short, but maybe 2 minutes, no matter. Next one somewhere. Any more extras?
Yeah.
Everybody get one? Need one more? So, Sue, can I get one? So the reason I'm giving it to you is not because I'm asking you to do a CMOD. You don't have to do a CMOD. But in trying to ask the question, well, how do we wrap our heads around these businesses? What research should we be doing? This lays it out, okay? And it lays it out in a simple way. It takes all the areas that you want to look at and puts them into three components. One of which is we call the core level. One of which is sort of the internal level, and the third is the interface between the business and external components, like the market. And so you'll see, if you open this document, you'll see at the core level, you're looking at the entrepreneur herself. You're looking at the product or service, what's being sold, and you're looking at the opportunity, which is the market. Okay, and it elicits, so what about the entrepreneur would we be interested in? There's a summary list right there. What about the entrepreneur would be interested in? Like?
Age, family, circumstances, sports history, educational background, things.
Okay, so think about those kind of issues. What do you want to know about your entrepreneur? Everybody get the transport? Anybody not get this? Transport schedule Thursday night? So some of this will come with time, some of which you might ask when you're in the get acquainted sort of first 15 or so minutes of the first meeting, but and you don't want to look like you're nosing into, but their families, are they working another job while they try to get this business off the ground? How much time do they have to spend on the business a week? That starts to get into some of these issues about the entrepreneur herself. You're trying to get at, and it's going to be key when you start writing things. If you're a consultant, you have to be objective, which means the entrepreneur has strengths, but the entrepreneur has weaknesses. And you need to point out these weaknesses in a nice way, in a constructive way. Well, sounds like you can use some help developing more sort of financial literacy about your business. But you have to be comfortable with that. You're not helping anybody by painting it all rosy. You're helping people when you tell them what they need to hear. And that takes a little courage. It's it may not be what they want to hear. But look at the market issues, the opportunity issues, look at the product service issues, look at the operational issues. This document is a guide to the background you're trying to get on the business over the next month or so. Okay, so I give it to you, not asking you to do a C model, asking you to use this as the guide for some of the questions and research and things you're trying to get into, many of which the entrepreneur can't answer, which means looking online, maybe talking to some competitors, maybe talking to some customers, looking at different sources of supply that, well, what do you need to make a piñata? I don't know, but, right? Okay, so to get into all of this, it starts with the kind of research that you're doing up front to start to get a handle on it. Okay, I mentioned So when people think of entrepreneurship, they think of there's this person who goes against the odds and starts a venture and takes risks and builds something. Well, you're gonna discover a number of things like entrepreneurship is not about risk taking. It's about risk mitigation. It's about risk. You're gonna discover the things that go into entrepreneurship. Identifying an opportunity, coming up with a business idea, leveraging resources are different than what it takes to manage a business. So what I'm saying is there's a difference between entrepreneurial skills, getting something up and running, doing what you have to do to get there, and managerial skills. And with our entrepreneurs, some of them are still haven't launched yet, but many of them have launched to some degree. You may actually find it's the managerial side that you're most helping them with. You may refine their business concept. You may get them to rethink what the opportunity is they're trying to capitalize on. But what do we mean by managerial as opposed to entrepreneurial?
Managing means to organize the internal operations, functions, finances, people. Entrepreneurial would simply be the overarching way in which you set up the business and sort of the risk that you might take.
Okay. So when I was in college, I studied economics, and I studied pure economics, not business economics, pure economics. I took every economics course I could take. Ended up getting a master's degree in economics. And so I'm sitting there going through this education, and I thought, well, I'll take one business course. I mean, I later got a PhD in business, but I'll take one business course. And it was called Introduction to Management. Well, I can learn something from that. And the guy walks into the classroom the first day, looking very professorial. And he sort of puts his finger in the air and asks provocatively, "What is management?" And I'm like, "Yeah, buddy, that's why I'm here. Tell me what it is." And he repeats himself. "What is management?" Like this is some earth-shattering question. And he pauses. Everybody's like got their pens out to write down that he's going to give us the big secret here. He goes up to the board and he writes Pods Corp. And we're all leaning forward now because it's like, oh, Pods Corp. The big reveal. What is Pods Corp? And he proceeds to explain it's planning, organizing, directing, staffing, coordinating, operating, reviewing, and budgeting. Did you get that? Planning, organizing, directing, staffing, coordinating, operating, reviewing, and budgeting. I dropped the course. Because I thought management was about leading, inspiring, making change happen. He's saying, no, it's planning, organizing, directing, blah, blah, blah. But he's right that that's the work of management. That's what managers do. You have to be able to plan work, plan schedules of people, plan resource allocation. They have to be able to organize tasks and workers, facilities. They have to be able to direct or supervise activity. They have to hire people and recruit them and train them and decide how they get compensated and decide how they get evaluated or reviewed. And if you think of that as management, whereas entrepreneurs are out there identifying opportunities and deciding which ones to go after and doing whatever it takes to make it happen, we end up finding in the real world, a lot of entrepreneurs are crappy managers. And a lot of managers don't have an entrepreneurial bone in their body. Our problem as consultants is more on the helping them learn this stuff. They have the product or service in mind. They may not know exactly who they're gonna sell it to, what the nature of the opportunity is, that needs some help with that. But I want you to see this distinction between entrepreneurship, that visionary change agent, creating something from nothing, and that manager who is doing the nuts and bolts of every day. How do we organize? How do we staff? How do we coordinate? How do we evaluate performance? And so these are the critical managerial skills a lot of our entrepreneurs struggle with. You need to evaluate their abilities in these areas. See where they need help, where they have gaps, where they have holes. Whereas on the entrepreneurial side, there are still relevant things. I'm going to teach you how to, when you got no marketing money, engage in guerrilla marketing. How, when you got no resources, leverage other people's resources. So some of this, how you leverage networks. You know, we have a new partner program for what we do in South Bend in Kansas City. And I was there on Saturday to do their opening session for them of the boot camp that we do. And when I walk in and I get the session going, the first thing I did was criticize them in a nice way. But what do you think my criticism was? These are entrepreneurs. What do entrepreneurs have to be doing all the time? Selling, 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 selling. What's my first criticism? What's the name of your business? Just make it.
Yeah, it's the golf course, Erica's books.
Erica's Books, right? How come you don't have a T-shirt on that says Erica's Books? How come you don't have a sweatshirt or a polo on that says, what am I trying to tell them? Work your business. If you're working your business, what are you doing? Well, there's 50 other people in this room. They need to know about Erica's Books, right? What's the second thing I told them? In that vein, what should they do before the day is over?
Sell a book.
Huh?
Sell a book.
No, sell a book would be good, but these are entrepreneurs with nothing. How many followers do you think they have on their Facebook business page? 12? 18? What's the first thing you want them to do?
Market.
In
Social.
the room we're in right now, meaning you got 49 other followers right here. Follow each other, right? You have to get into that kind of mindset. You have to get into the world of these entrepreneurs, and you just tripled how many followers you have just by getting everybody in the room to follow you, right? That's the entrepreneurial thinking that we're going to put, right? And you're drawing a balance, but my sense is your bigger challenge is on the managerial side with these entrepreneurs, where they have the biggest gaps, right? These ideas aren't as foreign. You have to give them tools and techniques and so forth, but these ideas aren't as foreign because they're survivors. They survived disadvantage, they've survived being in poverty, they've survived discrimination, they survived, so figuring things out, being clever. Things like guerrilla thinking are not a big stretch for them. They get it, they just need some, what's the word? Some fuel, some ways of thinking about a particular thing. Okay, so this is this idea that I mentioned, a lot of entrepreneurs, crappy managers, a lot of managers don't understand how to recognize the stage that your venture's in. And think in terms of 3 general stages, just the same way the 80 steps. Oh, by the way, take the 80 steps book with you to your first meeting. Guess what? The entrepreneurs all have copy of the 80 steps book. That's a nice discussion thing to get things going. There's something you have in common with them. But what I'm trying to say is the 80 steps are organized the way you want to be looking at your clients. Are they at a pre-launch stage? Are they fairly recently launched, but they really haven't stabilized the business? Have they stabilized the business and they're trying to grow? That's kind of, because the issues vary depending on these stages, the resources needed, everything varies based on of these stages, okay? What you're gonna find is a lot of, in the early stages of business, what's the mindset of the entrepreneur?
My product needs to be something I can sell.
Yeah. But what do I mean by they tend to be more product or production driven? Yeah.
Like before you can sell something, you have to have something to sell.
So what's Maya worried about?
She looked like making.
How to make-
Yeah.
Pinatas, how to get the raw materials to make pinata. How many pinatas can she make at a time? How much inventory of pinatas should she be holding in her garage, or should she wait till she gets some orders to make any more? Those, she's focused on production. And a lot of our entrepreneurs, you know, if you're a plumber and you start your own plumbing business, you're focused on doing good plumbing. You know, what kind of pipe work do I need to be comfortable with? How do I adhere to these 2 things or whatever? Prevent this from leaking. All of our entrepreneurs tend to start with, if I make candles, I'm preoccupied with candle making. If I rent bicycles, I'm preoccupied with getting bicycles, fixing them up, and finding ways to get them to customers. Production or focused on the product. You'll find that's a pervasive mindset amongst our entrepreneurs. And as you, so we have a lady who, really neat lady, makes beautiful products, has 2 autistic sons. She makes these beautiful bags, leather bags. And she makes a bag. She comes up with a design, makes another bag. If you go to her house, she's got like a shed out back, stuffed to the gills with bags, meaning she ain't selling. She ain't getting out there pushing her bag. She's production focused, product focused, to the point where she's got way too much inventory of bags, but hasn't figured out. So real pressures start to get you to be sales driven, but sales driven tends to translate into do whatever you have to do to make a sale, which is where our entrepreneurs start making a bunch of mistakes, like cutting price. Giving a thing, oh, you want this, or have a second one for free. Well, between the 2, you just lost a lot of money or whatever. And a bag that costs a couple $100, they ain't coming back to buy another one tomorrow. So it's, you know, often a one-off kind of purchase. So they get this sales driven mindset, but it tends to be do whatever I have to do to make a sale. Not strategic selling, not thinking more strategic marketing. We'll talk about that. You want to get them to the point where they're thinking more strategic. More strategic means more holistically, more long-term. A lot of these entrepreneurs are reactive. They're just responding, a new competitor in the market. Somebody just started making these out of completely different material. Price just got dropped 30% because of somebody using a new technology. The economy's in a recession. Interest rates are up 7%. What they react. They're reactive to what's happening around them. Okay. You'll, with time, help some of them become more tactical. They're not just reacting, they're trying some new things. But it's more, let me just try this, let me try that, let me throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks. There's no guidance to it. There's no bigger picture to it. So let's try this price promotion. Let's try going to pop-up markets now. We haven't been doing that. Tactical. And again, he's trying to get them, and we'll talk about what this means, to being more strategic. So I encouraged you to get your team organized. But the first thing you need to do, so who's your liaison with me? Who's your liaison with the client? Who's gonna be the numbers person? Who's gonna be the marketing and sales person on your team? Doesn't mean everybody isn't doing everything. It just means taking a lead in an area. So when we look at the letter of engagement, which, when are you gonna do that? See what happened to that. Did you not open that?
We did. I opened Canvas generally.
Is it over here? Maybe there?
Over here, yeah.
There we go. Okay, thanks. Let's go. So tell me what the letter of engagement is. What's the letter of engagement?
Give it to them, and give us confidence to them, tell them what.
Why are you doing a letter of engagement? Okay, to send a message of professionalism, again, to. Again, to manage expectations. Why am I not there? No. There we go. So here is a template all of you should use in writing your letters of engagement. You want to get that letter of engagement written to me. I will then give you feedback on it, make some suggested changes. You want to get my marked up version, input those changes, get it back to me, signed by me, signed by your two teammates, and take it to your second meeting. Okay? This is easy. This is an easy 100 score. But you can't spend the next 3 weeks working on letters of engagement. That's a way misuse of your time. So you need to knock this baby out, which is why I said it's okay to plagiarize a little bit. So here's a sample letter of engagement. Follow. So Miss Maya Miramontes, president, Maya's Piñata, whatever. Okay, RESP Consulting. So first paragraph. First paragraph. You just steal it wholesale. Don't change anything. Just
base.
copy it. Okay, second paragraph, you have to start customizing. As we understand it, Maya's Piñatas is primarily involved in designing, producing, and delivering beautiful piñata products. Moreover, your business can be characterized in terms of maybe different features are customized as well as standardized piñatas, or piñatas for literally all occasions, but a little more depth in terms of the business itself. Yet you've been successful in something, getting the business up and running, attracting your initial customers, getting into some stores, something positive that they've achieved. With this in mind, we see the primary focus of the consulting agent to be. This is not getting into deliverables. This is bringing more focus to the business, or expanding the business in terms of growth and sales, or rethinking some big area in the business. It's an overall focus of the consulting engagement. The consulting engagements tend to focus on either a lot of these businesses need more focus. Some of these businesses are ready to grow. Some of these businesses need to learn more before they're ready to grow about their numbers, about their market, about their market segments, about their operations. So that paragraph is cut. Next paragraph,
Plagiarize.
just take it wholesale. Don't have to change a single word. Here's the hardest part. While things are likely to change as the relationship evolves, at present we anticipate working on the following deliverables. And this is where I will probably mark it up a bit. But you got to take a guess based on your first meeting, what some of the areas are you're going to be focusing on. It's going to change. You're not locked in, but you're raising their expectations. You're going, well, we're going to look at accounting and help the numbers, help you make better decisions. We're going to look at marketing issues. So this is why I just said, look at the whole business. Okay, don't just focus on what you know or what's easy. So that will take some time. This paragraph, no change. This paragraph, no change. Okay, so we're cooking now. And we go to the next engagement. We'll start on, well, it's September 11th and it'll end on December 10th. Change that to 2025. But all that stuff you can leave. I think my office is 4141 now. Next paragraph, we work with you on implementation deliverables. So this paragraph right here is all about expectation management. Relationships are mutual. Both parties invest. We require these weekly 1-hour meetings, but we may be in touch with you by phone or text or whatever you prefer in between meetings, working on stuff and so forth. So managing expectations. We work with deliverables. Okay, then this gets customized. All the other stuff there stays the same. This gets customized. If they think you're just there to help them, that ain't a relationship. What do they want to know? Miriam? They want to know what you get out of it. So that it's two-way. It doesn't just seem like you're a charity provider helping me, the poor distressed entrepreneur. So this is where humility comes into the picture. What's one of the things you're going to get out of this? You're going to enhance your consulting skills. That should be in this paragraph. Oh, okay. I'm helping you develop your consulting skills. Oh, now I feel better about it. Because I thought you were just doing some charity thing to help me. Got to be two ways. To talk about what you're getting out of it, right? If it's a woman entrepreneur who's overcome a lot of adversity, that's a source of inspiration. We want to learn from you and your experiences, because you know, you've overcome a lot to get where you are right now. But take some time, be thoughtful, talk about what you're getting out of it. That makes them feel so much better because they realize, well, I'm getting something and you're getting something. I'm gonna have to give something, you're gonna have to give something, and we'll have a good relationship. Okay, you'll see at the bottom, don't forget to leave your team name in here. So before it says type name of team, the name of your team. Okay, what was your team?
Results together.
Results together, consulting, then you sign it, your teammates sign it. You can see the client signs it. Don't put president name of firm, put president and the actual name of the firm. And then I sign, okay? Everybody get the letter of engagement? Questions? We're good? Okay, so once you do the letter of engagement, what are you gonna be working on for the next 3 or so weeks?
Business model.
Business model. So let's start with a simple question. What's the difference between a product or service, a business concept, a business model, and a business plan? Product or service would be
What you're selling.
any unique offering that you provide to customers on an ongoing basis. We sell surfboards. Okay, any unique offering, product or service that you sell to customers on an ongoing basis. What's a business concept and how's it different from a product? Yes,
It's a yes. Is it the how?
it's kind of the how, a little bit the how. Another term for, and you're gonna need to come up with one of these for most of your clients. Another term for business concept is your unique value proposition. Nobody, you know what a drill bit is? Goes in the end of a drill. Nobody buys drill bits. What do they buy? No, that's a product. What are you buying? No, yes, but no.
Like-
What are you buying when you buy a drill bit? You're buying a hole in the wall. That's all the customer cares about. A hole in the wall. Think about what you're really selling. You know the company Revlon? What do they make?
Cosmetics. and-
Cosmetics. The founder's famous for saying, in the factory, we manufacture rouge or lipstick. In the marketplace, we sell hope. Hope for what?
Looking pretty.
To be pretty, whatever, to look young, whatever. But there's a guy who understands this business. I had a student who started a dessert bar. That was her dream. She'd gone to some culinary school, learned about baking. She opened a dessert bar. And her plan, when she was writing a business plan for this thing, was I'm gonna open a dessert bar in downtown Cincinnati, Ohio, in the central business district where the high-end retail like Nordstrom's is and the opera and the theater and the symphony. I'm gonna open this dessert bar. It's gonna sell these amazing desserts for these stupid prices. And this will be the go-to place you have to go after you go to the symphony or the opera or shopping at the fancy stores. So her product is New York cheesecake, tiramisu. Product. What's her business concept?
Satisfaction out of food after some events.
Like luxury.
Luxury.
experience.
Do you ever go to a restaurant and have dinner? And do you sometimes order dessert? Always or sometimes? Sometimes. And what do when they want to sell you dessert? If they're smart. They make it experiential, so they bring a cart out with, where you gotta look at the real desserts. Right? And what is she thinking? As that dessert cart is sitting there? What is she thinking? Is you got to walk in the shoes of your customers. If you're an entrepreneur. What is she thinking? I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't order dessert. I've been trying to eat healthy. I've been trying to lose some weight. But for a whole bunch of reasons, I shouldn't do this. That's what she's thinking. What else is she thinking?
Yes, I wanna get it.
I've had the week from hell. I deserve this dessert. I've had an amazing week. I deserve this dessert, but the bottom line is, what are you doing when you buy dessert in a restaurant? No,
Instead of a
no,
prize.
no. Think about the customer.
Indulging?
You are indulging. You are doing something nice for yourself. You're treating yourself. You know you shouldn't do it, but I'm gonna do it because I deserve this dessert. I've had a rough week. If you asked her what her product is, she'd say, we sell tiramisu. If you asked her business concept, she would say, and you nailed it. We sell indulgent experiences. There's a woman who knows her business. So try to get at the business concept for your clients. CNN does not sell Anderson Cooper 360. What does CNN sell? Instant information anytime from anywhere. If a plane goes down in the ocean and 300 people are lost, if a leader of a country is assassinated, what's the first thing people do? Whatever they're watching on TV, they turn to CNN. What are they really selling? The instantaneousness of it. Instant information, anytime, from anywhere. That's their business concept. Their product might be Anderson Cooper 360 or some particular show, but the concept is the instantaneousness of it. What happened to their viewership when Princess Di died in France? When O.J. Simpson was set free, not convicted. When Gore and Bush were tied, we didn't know who our president was gonna be. The viewership of CNN spikes. They sell. You watch CNN for any period of time, what'll happen at the bottom of the screen?
Headlines.
Breaking news, right? They're trying to hype this is the go-to place for instant information anytime. That's their business concept. So you want to be thinking about your client's business concept. So we'll turn to, okay, I get the product, I get the business concept. The business model captures the essence of the business. The business plan is a full blueprint, gets into the weeds. We're going to focus on capturing the essence of your client's businesses. Okay? I'm so excited for you for Thursday night. Probably more excited than you are. Gonna be great. You're gonna do great. We'll see you at the pickup point. We have your phone number, Sue.
Did you say that everyone will contact their entrepreneur like today or tomorrow?
Oh, I didn't say that. Thank you. We have contacted your entrepreneur. We got the time set up for the first meeting. That cannot be changed now. Please, either tonight or tomorrow morning, send a hi. This is Mike and Mary. We're your consultants this semester. We're so excited to see you. Remind them of the time and the place. These are entrepreneurs that need reminding. As soon as you can, get their phone number because they often respond more to texts than they do to emails.
Here.
Oh, is it there? Okay, so you got their phone number, but send them a, hello, we're looking forward to working with you. Not some long-winded thing, just something exciting and reminding. See you guys Thursday.